And something that came up while I was in this site was the pirate game. I talked about the sleeping family game and the gymnastics game in my lecture yesterday, but today I'm going to talk a little bit about the pirate game. And largely this is because the kids were watching a show called Jake and the Neverland Pirates. Who's familiar with this television program? Okay. Jake and the Neverland Pirates is a Disney spin-off program about pirates, and the kids all watch it, and then they come to school, as children do, and act out the pirate game. Okay. And I was really interested in the pirate game because it kept showing up over and over again in play, and it wasn't the kind of thing where I saw it as a jumping off point where kids say, oh, well, let's play pirates, and then it turns into something else. They stuck to the script of the television program pretty closely. So I explored a little bit in kind of a literature review looking at how maleness and masculinity in television media influences kids. And one of the most interesting studies I came across was from Myers. And she says that media images of men and maleness drive the dominance of a hegemonic ideal of male supremacy, even among very, very young boys. And something that's really interesting is that there's a whole status game happening in Jake and the Neverland Pirates. There's Jake, who's the head pirate, and there's Cubby, who's this secondary male character, and he's sort of a non-hegemonic male. But in Myers' research, she says that even having a presence of a non-hegemonic male in the game further shores up the idea of hegemonic masculinity as desirable. So their attempts at making it a little bit better kind of fall on deaf ears. We know that children's television with female protagonists is marketed as girls' television, and it's explicitly not for boys, whereas television with a male protagonist is explicitly for boys. Right? We also know, and that's from Orenstein, but some of the other research that I've read recently about some of the things about race and ethnicity in children's childhood stories and narratives and books and television is that when you have a white protagonist, that is a television program that's considered for everybody. If you have a protagonist of color, that's considered sort of a specific market, right? So we think about programs like Little Bill. Anybody seen Little Bill? Okay, Bill Cosby's program. Little Bill had one of the only television programs with an African-American male protagonist for children in the age bracket of 2 to 6. It was really interesting, okay? And it became a boutique program, meaning that it was marketed as it's something just for a particular demographic. Okay. Same thing with Diego, which is another program. He's Dora's sibling, I think, and then Handy Manny, which is problematic in a lot of ways. But again, these are protagonists of color, and they are marketed as in the same way that girls shows are just for girls, right? So you still have the dominance of a white male protagonist in most children's television, and that's what I see showing up in preschool. Rubel and Tavis Lamonda do a lot of fantastic work with young children and television, and they found that among children who are age 4, so these are your sort of middling preschoolers, my preschoolers were 3 to 5, so around the 4s, television watching was positively correlated with a belief that boys are better than girls and maleness is of higher status than femaleness. Okay, so that's hundreds and hundreds of kids. So they're finding that television is not this innocuous thing, and I felt like I needed to have some of this background before I got into talking about Jake and the Neverland Pirates and the pirate incident that I will read to you in a minute. Okay, so just for those of you who aren't familiar, here's Jake and the Neverland Pirates. This is a screenshot from Disney used with permission. Here's Jake in the middle, and there's Cubby, who is sort of the B squad male. He's small, he's feminine, he's round, right? Jake is strapping and meant to be attractive. And then we have Izzy, who is female, and she's racially ambiguous, I think. And these are the pirates. And then there's an anthropomorphized kind of parrot character that also shows up. Their children, notably the adults, are the villains in this. And that's what they happen. So I want to share with you, and I'm going to read this because I want to share the vignette as it happened about the pirate game. So these are the kids that were involved. There's Rory, Isaac, and Dante. And then Lizzie and Rosie are the aspiring pirate captains. And I'll show you. So this is the pirate game. So the pirate game was popular among the core group of 4 boys. It was fluid and imaginative and involved boys who both planned and enacted the play sessions. Rory and Isaac were the most dominant boys. We attributed this to their advanced verbal skills, size, age, agility, and ability to invent interesting games and keep them going, as well as Rory's ownership of the pirate game. He was the person with the most unfettered access to media and the most familiarity with the desirability of the Jake and the Neverland Pirates storyline, though other boys did occasionally elaborate and create departures. Isaac's academic middle-class parents did not allow him access to television at that time, nor did he have access to attractive print media or merchandise from programs like Jake. Jason was a bit younger and had a slight speech delay. Dante had relocated to New Elizabethtown, which is where the study took place, mid-year, and was younger than Isaac and Rory. It's important to note that Dante, with his friendly, kind personality and progressive, overtly feminist parents, was much less likely to exclude females from play than were the other boys. As he grew more comfortable in the class, he would frequently champion girls who wanted to enter all-boy play spaces and find creative ways for them to fit into games. And yes, I have a paper I'm writing about Dante. On one occasion, in early spring 2013, two girls attempted to enter into the pirate game when a dominant player, Rory, who was alone because his two usual playmates, Jason and Isaac, were working on assessments with the teacher and Dante was absent. Rory found himself on his own and needing playmates for the pirate game, so he was willing to allow girls to participate, but only within circumscribed roles. "Let's play Jake and the Neverland Pirates," he said to Lizzie and Rosie. "You can be my crew." The girls were eager to enter play. He proceeded to tell them the plan for the game that day. This was something Rory frequently did with his male playmates as well, though Isaac, Jason, and Dante usually contributed to the plan and the storyline, and disagreements were negotiated and solutions found within the initial planning period before they actively entered the pretend session. When Rory began to lay out the plan for the game, including Lizzie's and Rosie's role assignments, the girls quickly chimed in with ideas for costumes, roles, and the plot, including an array of non-canonical roles borrowed from games with which they were familiar, such as a mother, a kitty cat, and a baby kitten. The girls also wanted to be pirate captains along with Rory. Rory was less willing to hear outside contributions when he was playing with other males, and conflict ensued. As the dispute continued, it drew a teacher's attention. The teachers in this classroom were very reluctant to get involved with disputes unless the children really needed help. They really wanted them to resolve them themselves. The teachers were also decidedly non-interventionist in terms of mediating play. They wanted the kids to sort it out. As the following vignette illustrates, Rory reacted negatively to Lizzie and Rose's attempt to take up roles that deviated from the script. Remember, this was a game. They played it to the script. It was not a jumping off point. And when the teacher happened upon this conflict, the teacher's name is Patty, Rory was similarly unwilling to negotiate. The teacher did not mandate inclusion, but rather spent a great deal of time exploring his and others' feelings in an attempt to convince Rory that he should allow girls to participate on their own terms, and this did not have good results.